A power outage shuts down courts, classrooms, offices, even the People Mover in downtown Detroit.
The outage forcing thousands of people to evacuate several buildings this afternoon. Fox News' Alexis Wiley live now downtown with the latest. Alexis.
Monica and Huel, Detroit's Chief Operating Officer Gary Brown told me power would be restored by 5 o'clock today. But as you can see, the street lights are still out. There are plenty of officers here directing traffic. Thankfully, traffic is very light right now because workers were dismissed hours ago. But again, this power outage certainly created a lot of chaos downtown.
The Frank Murphy Hall of Justice is being evacuated at this time. We have a power outage.
A power outage on one of the hottest days of the summer. The outage hit critical buildings on the Detroit public lighting grid. Places like City Hall, Frank Murphy Hall of Justice, the McNamara Building, Wayne State, and the People Mover were all without power, forcing workers and defendants to evacuate the building. For many, the outage seemed to come without warning. Police officers forced to direct traffic because lights along this stretch of Jefferson were out. Firefighters had to rescue people stuck in elevators.
It was frightening. Not knowing how long we're going to be in there.
We're stuck right in between the 7th and the 6th floor, so we had to climb out of there using the ladder.
Firefighters also had to rescue a woman who was 8 months pregnant. She couldn't take the stairs and was trapped on one of the upper levels of City Hall. Detroit COO Gary Brown says 2 of 5 times lines on the public lighting grid went down Wednesday, so the city made the decision to take some of those buildings offline to keep the whole grid from crashing. Did any of the customers get any notice that the power was going to go out?
We did start calling our customers, prior to taking them down and asking them to comply and turn off the air conditioners, but they weren't responding as fast as we would have liked them to, and so we had to send a strong message by turning the power off.
A message that's left plenty fuming.
See, we're in a building right now that's on high alert after what happened yesterday. We don't need any more mistakes or tragedies in our building. If they were going to do this, they should have given us notice so we could plan around it.
You know, there were people stuck in elevators, and there's some who are very upset that this was even done at all in the middle of the workday, 90-some degrees. What do you say to them?
I say we're working very hard to get them out of the elevators. I've turned the power on the building that we're standing in front of to get people out of the elevators. I made sure that people got out of the city-county building. We turned the power back on to get them out.
And Brown says the real problem is PLD's aging grid, which is why the city is working to transfer all services to DTE. But that has not yet happened.
If we don't take the precautionary measures, we could lose large parts of the city, and we can't allow that to happen.
Now, as you heard from Gary Brown, the city still maintains control of the power. So when power is restored, Gary Brown is asking for all customers to make sure that they only use essential power, only use the lights that you have to. Don't use air conditioning while they try to figure out what's going on with these 2 other grids, because what they're trying to prevent is a cascade effect, so to speak, so that this does not spread throughout the city. Live in downtown Detroit, I'm Alexis Wiley, Fox 2 News.
Well, Alexis, for the first time in weeks, we are seeing Gary Brown live on our air now that he is COO and running the city. But let me get this straight. The city, Gary Brown, shut off power to some buildings because he was afraid it might cause a cascading impact to the other parts of the city. Is that correct?
Absolutely. That is what he indicated. He said that some of the buildings, they told them to stop using so much power, but they continued. They were still using air conditioning. So they cut off the power to some of those buildings to make sure that it did not overpower the entire system, so that this didn't spread throughout the whole city of Detroit. Huel?
All right, Alexis.